Greetings, my dear friends. My name is Tiberius Templeton, and I'm here to regale you with some of the craziest, most confounding female crush stories you've ever heard. So buckle up, grab some popcorn, and get ready for a wild ride. This is going to be fun. Blinded by love, how my crush used me as a backup plan. Hey there, guys. It's been a while since I've shared something on here, but I wanted to open up about something that's been weighing on my mind lately. I met this girl a few months back, and I thought she was absolutely amazing. I won't mention her name, but let's call her Sarah. Sarah was stunning, with a dazzling smile that could light up a room. From the moment we met, I felt like I had known her forever. She had an infectious personality, and an uncanny ability to make me feel comfortable around her. As we spent more time together, I found myself developing feelings for her. I would spend hours talking to her, just soaking in her radiance. But as time went on, I started to see a different side of her, a side that I didn't expect, a selfish side. Now, I've never been in a relationship before, so I wasn't quite sure what to expect. I thought everything was going great, but then I started to notice something. Every time we hung out, it was all about her. She would talk about herself for hours on end, hardly ever asking me any questions about myself. At first, I didn't mind. I mean, who doesn't love hearing about someone's fascinating life experiences? But it got old quickly. What really started to bother me was the fact that whenever I did something nice for her, she never seemed to appreciate it. I would take her out to dinner, or buy her little gifts, and she would barely acknowledge it. It was like she expected it from me. She would even ask me to do things for her without saying please or thank you. Now, I'm not one to complain, but it started to wear on me after a while. Despite her selfishness, I still had a crush on her. I thought maybe she was just going through a rough patch and didn't realize how she was acting. So I decided to confront her about it. I told her how I felt, and she seemed genuinely surprised. She apologized and promised to be more mindful of how she was treating me. For a few days, things seemed to be going well. She was more considerate of my feelings, and we had some great conversations. But then, she started falling back into her old habits. She would cancel plans with me last minute, or ignore my calls and texts. I felt like I was being taken advantage of, but I didn't want to lose her. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe she was just busy, or stressed out. But then, I found out the truth. Looks like you were given a dose of the old runaround, my good fellow. Let's find out what happens next. I ran into Sarah at a party, and she was with another guy. She introduced him to me as her boyfriend. I was stunned. All this time, she had been leading me on, making me think there was a chance for us. She had been using me as a backup plan while she was seeing someone else. I felt stupid and hurt. I couldn't believe I had let her treat me like that. I realized that Sarah didn't care about me at all. She only cared about herself. And yet, despite everything, I still had feelings for her. That's why I'm reaching out to all of you for advice. How do I move on from someone who only thought about themselves? How do I learn to value myself and not let someone treat me like a second option? Any advice would be appreciated. Looking back on it, I should have seen the warning signs. I should have realized that something was off about the way she was treating me. But I was so blinded by my feelings for her that I didn't want to believe that she could be capable of using me like that. Now, I know that I need to learn to value myself and my own needs, and not let someone take advantage of my kindness. It's a tough lesson to learn, but one that I think will ultimately make me a stronger and more resilient person. If anyone out there has been in a similar situation, I would love to hear your advice on how to move on and heal from this kind of experience. I know I'm not alone in this, and it helps to know that others have gone through something similar. Thanks for taking the time to read my story and for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Well, it seems the lady in question was not all that splendid after all, was she? Now then, chaps, what say you? Do share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't touch that dial, dear viewers. The best is yet to come. The perfect match that turned into a nightmare. Hey everyone, I need your help. I recently went on a few dates with a girl named Emily. We had an instant connection, and things were going really well. However, after the third date, everything changed. Emily sat me down and told me that she didn't want to continue seeing each other. I was completely blindsided. I thought things were going great. I tried to ask her why she had changed her mind, but she didn't give me a clear answer. A few days after our last date, I started receiving strange messages from Emily. They were cryptic and didn't make any sense. I tried to ask her what she meant, but she just gave me vague answers. At first, I thought she was just playing games or trying to mess with me. But then, things started to get really weird. Things would go missing, and I would find them in strange places. Ah yes, the classic hide the toothbrush move, a staple in the stalker's playbook. But I digress. Let's carry on with your tale. I'm quite eager to see how it all plays out. I started to feel like I was being watched. I tried to ignore it at first, but then things started to escalate. One night, I came home to find my front door unlocked. I knew for a fact that I had locked it before I left. I searched the apartment, but everything seemed to be in place. I couldn't shake the feeling that someone had been there. That's when I decided to go to the police. At first, they didn't take me seriously. They told me that I was probably just overreacting, and that there wasn't anything they could do. But then, I started to notice more, and more strange things happening around my apartment. I installed security cameras, hoping to catch whoever was responsible for all of these strange occurrences. A few days later, the police contacted me. They told me that they had found out that Emily wasn't who she said she was. In fact, she had a criminal record and had been stalking me for weeks. I was completely freaked out. I had no idea that any of this was going on. I couldn't believe that someone could be so obsessed with me after just a few days. Now, I'm trying to move on from this experience. It's been difficult for me to trust people, especially women. I feel like I'm always on edge, and that I can't let my guard down. I'm scared to start dating again, and I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. I've been seeing a therapist to try to work through my feelings, but it's been a slow process. I still have trouble sleeping at night, and I feel like I'm living in a constant state of fear. Has anyone else experienced something like this? How did you move on from a traumatic experience like this? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. I don't want this experience to define me, but I don't know how to move past it. Looking back on it now, there were definitely some warning signs that I should have paid attention to. Emily was always very secretive about her personal life, and she would never let me come to her apartment. She would always insist on meeting in public places. I don't know why I didn't see these things as red flags at the time. Maybe I was just too caught up in the moment to notice. Either way, I learned a valuable lesson about trusting my instincts and being more cautious in the future. If there's one piece of advice I can give to anyone who's going through something like this, it's to reach out for help. Don't try to handle everything on your own. There are people out there who can help you, whether it's a therapist or the police. It's been a difficult journey for me, but I'm slowly learning how to move on from this experience. I don't know if I'll ever be able to fully trust someone again, but I'm trying to focus on the positive things in my life. I'm spending more time with my friends and family, and I'm trying to find new hobbies and interests to occupy my time. I'm also trying to remind myself that not everyone is like Emily. There are good people out there who won't try to hurt me or manipulate me. It's just a matter of finding them. In the end, I hope that my story can serve as a cautionary tale for others. It's important to be cautious when meeting new people, especially online. Trust your instincts and don't ignore warning signs. Most importantly, don't be afraid to reach out for help if you need it. There are people out there who care about you and want to help you through difficult times. I'm still dealing with the aftermath of my experience, but I know that with time and support, I'll be able to move past it. Thank you all for listening to my story and for your advice. It means a lot to me. I suppose it's true what they say, love is blind, ... to warning signs and red flags. Don't be shy, dear viewers. Leave your own musings on this story in the comments section below. And now, dear viewers, for our next tale of woe and wonder, I do hope it's a bit less stalkery. Confidence is key. Or is it a story of love and second chances? I need some advice. I'm in a bit of a pickle, and I'm not sure how to move forward. Let me give you some background first. I've had a crush on this girl, let's call her Sarah, for a while now. We've been friends for a couple of years, and I finally mustered up the courage to tell her how I feel. She seemed receptive at first, but things quickly took a turn. Sarah has always been a bit overconfident, but I never realized just how much until now. She started acting like she could do no wrong, constantly making snide remarks about my interests and hobbies. She even went so far as to criticize my job, saying that she could do it better than me. I tried to brush it off, and chalk it up to her just being confident in herself. But then she took it a step further. We were at a party together, and she started flirting with another guy right in front of me. When I confronted her about it, she acted like I was being jealous for no reason, and that she was just being friendly. Things came to a head when we were hanging out at a bar with some mutual friends. Sarah got really drunk and started causing a scene. She was shouting and knocking over drinks, and when one of our friends tried to calm her down, she pushed him away and stumbled out of the bar. I ran after her to make sure she was okay, but she turned on me and started yelling at me for not being supportive enough. I'm at a loss for what to do now. I still have feelings for her, but I don't know if I can handle being constantly put down and disrespected. I don't want to give up on the possibility of a relationship, but I also don't want to subject myself to this kind of treatment. Has anyone been in a similar situation? How did you handle it? Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Ah yes, the classic how do I handle this overconfident crush conundrum. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, although I must admit, the t-shirt was a bit too snug for my liking. Anyway, thanks for all the advice and support, everyone. I wanted to give you an update on what's been going on since I posted last. After reading through all the comments, I realized that I needed to have a serious conversation with Sarah. I couldn't just keep brushing off her behavior and hoping it would get better. So I invited her to meet me for coffee and told her how I felt. I started by expressing my feelings for her and telling her that I wanted to pursue a relationship. But I also told her that her behavior had been hurtful and disrespectful. I explained how her constant put-downs and flirting with other guys had made me feel, and that I couldn't continue like this. Sarah didn't take it well at first. She got defensive and tried to brush it off, but I stood my ground and kept the conversation going. Eventually, she started to open up and admitted that she had been struggling with some personal issues lately. She said that her overconfidence was just a way to hide her insecurities, and that she didn't mean to hurt me. We talked for a while longer, and ended up coming to a bit of an understanding. Sarah apologized for her behavior, and I told her that I still had feelings for her, but that we needed to work on our communication and respect for each other. Since then, things have been going pretty well. We've been spending more time together, and Sarah has been making an effort to be more considerate and respectful. I'm glad that we had that conversation, and I feel like we're on a better path now. Thanks again for all your advice and support. Sometimes it's hard to know what to do in these kinds of situations, but having a community to turn to makes all the difference. Well, my dear author, it seems you've done a fine job of handling this overconfident crush, even without the benefit of my expert advice. Take heed, my dear fellows. The comments section awaits your input, and we shall be most pleased to read your considered opinions and observations. The next story is waiting to be enjoyed like a warm cup of tea. Just friends or something more. A perplexing puzzle of a flaky crush. Hey, everyone. I need to vent about my crush. I won't name her here, but let's call her Flaky Crush. She's always sending mixed signals, and I'm honestly not sure what to do. We've been friends for a while now, and I've had a crush on her pretty much since the day we met. She's beautiful, funny, and smart, and I really enjoy spending time with her. But the problem is that she's always hot and cold with me. One day, she'll be texting me all day, asking me about my day, and telling me about hers. She'll even flirt with me a little bit, which makes my heart skip a beat. But then, the next day, she won't reply to my messages for hours, or she'll be short with me and seem disinterested in talking. I've tried to ask her about it, but she always just brushes it off and says she's busy, or tired, or whatever. It's frustrating because I can't tell if she's actually interested in me or if she's just playing games. But here's the thing, I'm not exactly innocent in this situation. I've always been nice to her, maybe too nice. I've listened to her vent about her exes, helped her move apartments, and even lent her money when she was in a tough spot. Ah, the age-old dilemma. Do I lend her money and risk never seeing it again? Or do I keep my wallet closed and risk being labeled a cheapskate? It's a tough call, my friend. Personally, I just avoid dating anyone who's bad with money. Saves me a lot of headaches in the long run. I don't regret doing any of those things, but I can't help feeling like she's taking advantage of my kindness. The other day, we went out for drinks, and she was all over me. She was laughing at all my jokes, touching my arm, and even resting her head on my shoulder. I was on cloud 9, Finally, it seemed like she was into me. But then, halfway through the night, she got a call and had to leave. She didn't even say goodbye, just left me sitting there with my heart in my throat. I'm honestly not sure what to do at this point. I really like her, but I don't want to keep getting jerked around like this. Do I confront her and risk ruining our friendship? Or do I just try to move on and find someone who actually appreciates me? Here's the twist. Last night, I ran into her at a bar. She was with another guy, and they were definitely more than just friends. At first, I was crushed. But then, as I watched them together, something clicked in my brain. I realized that this wasn't the first time I had seen her with another guy, and it probably wouldn't be the last. And then it hit me. Maybe Flaky Crush isn't actually interested in me at all. Maybe she just likes the attention I give her, the way I'm always there for her no matter what. Maybe she's been leading me on this whole time, just to boost her own ego. I know it sounds harsh, but I can't shake this feeling that I've been played. I don't want to believe it, but I can't ignore the evidence. And now, I'm not sure where to go from here. Do I cut her out of my life completely? Or do I confront her and demand an explanation? I could really use some advice right now, so if anyone has been in a similar situation, please let me know what you did. Thanks for listening, and I'll keep you all updated on what happens next. Well, there you have it, folks. 4 tales of love gone awry. The next time you find yourself crushing on someone, just remember, keep your wits about you, and don't do anything I wouldn't do. Remember, folks, subscribing is free, but missing out on my future content is a crushingly expensive mistake. Don't miss out on our next video, where we'll explore the wonderful world of dating disasters. Trust me, you won't want to swipe left on that one.